Hey guys, how's it going today? So, I've been seeing all over Facebook, social media, everywhere I see, when should I start my lawn renovation? How should I go about it? So I thought this would be a great opportunity to go over how to do a lawn renovation, when to do a lawn renovation, and the step-by-step process that I do that gets me the success that I see on my lawns. So stick around because we're going to jump right into that. Alright guys, so first thing first when doing a lawn renovation is know the type of grass that you're using and the type of season that you're in. So, for a lot of us, right now it is getting into fall. If you're a warm season lawn, you need to be doing your renovations more in the summertime when the soil temperatures are higher up, so you go ahead and get that lawn renovation going. Right now is a perfect time for you cool season lawns to go ahead and get that lawn renovation started. So watching your temperatures, knowing where you're at, is key for doing a lawn renovation. So now the next question is, what kind of seed do you use? Well, it's up to you. There's plenty of different seeds out there that you can grab. The one thing I do suggest is using a premium type of seed, something that you're not going to get at your big box store because typically those seeds are just not up to snuff. All right, they have weed seeds in them. They don't germinate well. They're just not up there. All right. Now, if you want to do a perennial ryegrass, perennial rye is amazing. It is the darkest of the cool season lawns. It is darker than anything you'll ever see. Perennial rye is susceptible sometimes to some fungus, so you do have to take care of that, but all lawns are going to be susceptible to some of those issues, and you will have to make sure that you're taking care and taking the proper precautions to make sure that your lawn is disease-free. Another great lawn is Kentucky bluegrass. I'm just not a patient person when it comes to seeding Kentucky bluegrass, where it can take up to a few months before you really start to see a nice full lawn. And sometimes even a full year, depending on where you live, your temperatures that you have, it can take a long time to get a nice full lush lawn. I'm not a patient person. That's why I haven't done Kentucky bluegrass myself. It is a nice lawn. It fills itself in. It repairs itself. It is a great lawn to have if you have time and patience to go ahead and seed something like that. Another good cool season lawn is turf type tall fescue. Really good lawn, germinates quickly. I personally have not grown that. It's just not one of my favorites, but it is a good family favorite that a lot of people do use. Where to get your grass seed? So I like to get my grass seed from Twin City Seeds. It is just a premier grass seed. It is just one of the best. It germinates quickly, it germinates fast, and honestly, look how dark it is. So just make sure if you are going to do this process, you're going to spend the money. The seed is really where it's all at. Put your money into your seed and grab a premium type of grass seed so it germinates quickly. You don't have those weeds. When you get the seed in, it should have a tag on it and it'll say no weeds on it. That is what you're looking for. You're looking for something with no weeds inside of it because you don't want to put down all this nice new grass seed and have weeds coming up right in it. So make sure you get a premium grass seed. That is the one thing that I would definitely highly recommend when picking out your grass seed. Get something premium. So now you need to figure out, are you going to kill off your existing lawn or just overseed it? I have killed off multiple lawns and I prefer to kill them off sometimes when they are just a mess. All right, I have had a lawn salad here before where it's just a mixture of all these different types of grass blades. I had to kill it off. So the best process to do about that is picking up yourself some 41% glyphosate. Something like Killzall or Roundup, something you could spray down onto your lawn and it's gonna kill it all off. This process typically takes roughly 2 weeks to make sure you got a good kill. I like to kill it and then wait a few weeks to make sure that everything is dead so it doesn't come back on me. If you have some bunching type fescues, those can come back on you very quickly. Sometimes that 41% glyphosate does not eliminate it on the first shot. It can take up to 2, maybe even 3 applications of spraying to make sure that it is dead. And each of those sprays you need to spread off about 2 to 3 weeks between them. So you want to make sure you kill everything off first, so that way you're starting with a nice new blank slate for your new lawn. Once your lawn is nice and brown and dead and you are the embarrassment of your neighborhood, you want to go ahead and mow that lawn down as low as you possibly can. Then what I like to do is I like to take my Sun Joe with the scarifying attachment, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my lawn a couple times, just kind of remove a lot of the material that might be left over there. You don't need to get rid of all of it, but what you do want to do is thin it out enough so that you can see the soil level below, so that way you can have a good seed to soil contact, which is going to be key for that premium seed that you just bought to germinate. So now that you have scarified and removed all the material from that lawn, the next step is optional, but I do recommend it for people with compacted soils, which is going over and aerating that new soil area. What you want to do is you want to go through with an aerator, put some holes in the ground, make sure you're getting plugs up, so that way you're relieving the compaction in your soil bed. It's going to help your seed germinate quicker and faster because if the soil is too compact, those roots can't dig down deep into that soil, and all you're doing is now loosening up that soil for the roots to grow down deep in there. So it is an optional step. If you do have a compacted soil, I'd highly recommend doing it. Then this next step is also an optional step for you. If you have a bumpy lawn, I suggest doing this, but it is up to you. You can bring in new topsoil from maybe a local nursery. I like to get it in bulk because I can get it from my local nursery and it matches the topsoil that's currently in my lawn. But you bring in that new topsoil, you lay it down, and you smooth it out. So that way you have a nice, smooth, level lawn for your new seed to grow in. When you mow the next season, it's gonna be amazing because it's gonna be nice and smooth. It's not gonna be a bumpy lawn. You're not gonna be like, when you're mowing. So it is a great opportunity to go ahead and level out that lawn, start new and fresh, and bring in a little bit of new soil in there for your lawn to grow into. It is something I do suggest if you have something bumpy, but again, an optional step for you if you want to go ahead and do that. And that process is pretty simple. All you do is bring in the topsoil, make some piles on your lawn, and then smooth them out with what I like to use is my lawn level rake. It makes a really smooth lawn. It makes it very easy to spread out, but you can just use a regular rake and just kind of get it out there and make sure it's as smooth as you can. But I do highly suggest a lawn level rake that I will link down below that you can go ahead and snag, and it creates just a perfect seed bed for your lawn, especially if you're putting down that new soil. So again, an optional step for you guys if you wanted to go ahead and do it. All right, so now you have just dirt, right? The perfect setup for your new seed. What's next? Put that seed down. So you can take your premium seed, you're gonna look for your seeding rates on the bags. They will always usually tell you the amount of pounds per square foot that you need to put down. So just do a little bit of simple math. Every grass seed is different, every lawn size is different, so put down the seed that you need. I always go with a little bit of a higher rate just because I want a better germination. I want a fuller lawn right off the bat. You can do this with a hand spreader, you can do this with a drop spreader, or you can do this with a regular spreader. A drop spreader is probably gonna be the most accurate and best application in this process, but I know that not everybody has those and typically has just a regular spreader. Either one works just fine. So go ahead and get that seed down and we're gonna move on to the next step. So now that that seed is down, we wanna make sure that we focus in on our seed to soil contact. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a light rake and just kind of lightly rake that seed in. Nothing too crazy, nothing too hard, but you wanna make sure that you get that seed in and you're ready and it's ready to go. All right, you want good seed to soil contact. That's what's going to help your lawn grow in the future. If you have no seed to soil contact, it's not gonna grow and it's not gonna stay. So take a light rake, rake over that lawn a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. All right guys, so then what's next? Well, we gotta fertilize our lawn. So there's a couple different options you can do. My first option, my favorite option, is spraying down fertilizer. Some products I like to use are the Turf Titan products. So they have a root buster that you can use, which is great at seeding. It helps those roots branch out and grow as quick as possible. So it's a great product that you can go ahead and put down in there. I've also used Green County Fertilizer's Starter Fert, which is right here. Great product also to use when you're putting down new seed. Both of them are gonna be great products to go ahead and get that seed germinated fast and established quickly. I like to combine those two products though with mesotrione or tenacity. This will help keep the weeds from coming into your lawn. It is a pre-emergent that is safe to put down at seeding time, so that way the weeds that come in do not establish themselves. They will die off. You'll see them actually turn white while the rest of the grass is growing. It is a perfectly safe product to go ahead and put down during your seeding time. Alternative to spraying, if you do not want to spray, Scotts does make a starter fertilizer with mesotrione in it that you can put down. It is a great product for people who do not want to spray products. It's right here. You can go ahead and grab this, put it down, and watch your lawn grow. But key here at this point is making sure that you fertilize that new seed that you just put down so it grows and has some nutrients to go ahead and absorb and quickly establish itself in your lawn. All right guys, so we've done most of the work. We're almost at the end. Now we need to do one step to cover our butts, and we're gonna use peat moss. Peat moss is great because what it does is actually protects the seed layer from any types of birds or pests. It also helps retain moisture when you water your lawn. So it'll always keep that seed nice and moist throughout the entire day. The best way to do this is grab some couple bags of peat moss and use a peat moss spreader. Now you can rent one of these, you can buy one of these, and I'll go ahead and link one down below. And you just roll it across the lawn. It's super easy and it's super fast. It takes maybe a couple minutes. It probably takes longer to load the thing than it does to actually push the thing. So super easy, super fast to use. You want to do a nice light layer across your lawn just to kind of cover the seed and you're good to go. Once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our last step, which is just water. You want to make sure that you're watering like crazy at this point because you want that seed to germinate. The seed needs to stay moist throughout the entire process here because otherwise if it dries, it dies. You don't want to do all this work and have that seed dry out. For those of you who are relying on Mother Nature, make sure that you're checking your schedules on when that water is coming in. If you have irrigation, set your schedule up. I like to do at least 4 times a day, usually around 4 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m., 2 to 3 p.m., and then another one depending on the heat temperatures of the day around 4 or 5 p.m. This allows for all of the seed to stay wet for as long as possible. It keeps it moist and wet. Watering is probably the most important aspect of this entire process, because if you do not have water, that lawn will not come in. You can do all these other steps, but if you don't water, nothing will happen. So keeping a good watering schedule is going to help your lawn tremendously. Alright guys, so you've done all the work. Now we're just waiting for that seed to germinate. So depending on the seed that you got, you can see germination in as early as 3 to 4 days with perennial ryegrass here. Sometimes with Kentucky bluegrass, you can see it as early as 7 days. I think I'm more along the lines of 2 to 3 weeks, so 14 to 21 days is when you'll start to see some germination. And turf type tall fescue is around 7 days. So depending on the lawn that you have or the lawn seed that you planted, that's when you should start seeing something kind of sprout up a little bit. You want to wait until that lawn is pretty well established before you mow. Even with perennial ryegrass, it's roughly 21 to 28 days before you get that first mow in. You want to make sure it's well established before you get that mow in. You don't want to ruin what you just did. Some advice I have when you want to do that first mow is making sure that you stop irrigating for about a day or two before that mow. You want the ground to firm up a little bit because you don't want those wheels to just start pulling out at mud because you've been watering a ton. So cut back on the water before that first mow, and then go ahead and turn it back on. After that, guys, your lawn's pretty much in. You can overseed a couple areas that might be barren. With Kentucky bluegrass, I wouldn't suggest overseeding because it spreads and grows with the rhizomes. But with perennial rye here, you can overseed in some spotty areas. It will help the lawn grow up. I would suggest doing that after the first mow and then letting those seeds grow in before the next mow. You'll have some longer cycles before the mows here, before you kind of get on a good, consistent schedule. But it will fill in on you, and it's a perfect time for you guys to overseed after each mow to get that lawn to fill. After the first mow, it is a prime opportunity to go ahead and put down some new fertilizer for your lawn. The fertilizer that we put down to seeding has kind of started to wear off already, so this is a prime time to give our new grass some new nutrients, help it push itself up a little bit more, and get it really growing faster. So prime time, put some new stuff down on the lawn, and you can see that lawn grow really quickly. All right, guys, so then now you're at the point where your lawn is full, it's filled in, everything's looking good. You should be cutting back on your water, doing long and frequent waterings, something like 20 minutes every 3 days or so. So that way it's forcing the roots of your lawn to grow deep down into that soil level. You want long, deep roots. At that point, you're just kind of maintaining, giving it the nutrients, giving it fertilizer every time that it needs it, however you want to do it. But your lawn should look nice and full and dark and green. All your neighbors are going to be envious of it. I guarantee you they're all going to say, some of them are going to say something, and some of them might even step their game up and try and improve their lawn. So all these tips and tricks are going to be helpful for you guys. This is my complete guide on how I do my lawn seedings. It works well for me. As you can see here, I did this lawn here. I've done that one. I did this one over here, which is still filling in, but it's looking really good. I have to say, all of these tips work for me. All these tricks work for me. My system works. It takes time. Lawn care is not an instant gratification. I'm the most impatient person in the world, and lawn care has taught me how to be at least a little bit more patient. Starting over new, though, is something exciting and cool. You get to kind of build this whole new lawn, and everybody else around you will kind of notice it, and they will take notice of what your lawn looks like. So if you found my guide helpful, please, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. I have plenty more content we have ready to come out for you guys. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed what we did today. And as always, I'm going to see you guys on the next one.